Very good evening, friends. Meeting after a long time with this fourth year syllabus. We have finished third year syllabus and we're going to start fourth year syllabus. And basically, this chapter, the chapter number 1 from Stuart Close, the psychological point of view, is added in fourth year syllabus. People feels that why this chapter is in fourth year and why rest of the chapters they have taken in earlier second year, third year. This chapter has a lot of depth. This is not only for the just introduction, even though it has been written over there, it is an introduction. It is not an introduction. It is the thing where Stuart Close tries to explain that if you want to achieve the success in homeopathy or in any field, how one should be and what should be one's approach. This chapter has that depth. It gives you, once you read it, then you will understand how much great the Stuart Close is. And that's why this chapter is there for the fourth year syllabus, because you are entering into such a phase where you have to build your practice. And if you want to achieve the success in practice, what one should do, how one should look towards the homeopathy from the psychological point of view. This aspect Stuart Close tried to explain over there. So this is the chapter which will start the introduction, chapter number 1, the psychological point of view. He has directly started with great personalities. Why he has started introducing his chapter with great personalities? Because they are he has written certain names who have their own name in the in their own field, and unless and until those persons have done something in their life, they have not become great. If you want to become a great, you must develop something or you must work hard like them, then you can achieve that success. And this aspect he tried to highlight and over there, and that's why he started directly with great personality. All great forward movements in the religion, science, or art originate in the mind of some individual who appears at the psychological moment and announces his mission. His personality and his teaching represent the truth for which he stands. So those people who have become great in their field, they have not become great because just they got the fluke. They have become great because they have the thoughts with which they have born, the thought which is born in their mind, they started working for that, and they work hard to achieve that goal, that ambition, that thought, that work, and because of which naturally what has happened, their teaching, their personality represented the truth for which he stands, and because of which in the next paragraph he gives certain names to Moses or Luther. Moses, he was a prophet according to the teaching of Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianism. Luther is the Martin Luther. Then to a Washington or Lincoln, or to a Plato or Bacon. Plato was again a philosopher. Bacon was to a Hippocrates or a Hahnemann. Two big people. Hippocrates, the father of medicine; Hahnemann, the father of homeopathy. Each in his own sphere and period, the world becomes and must come for instructions, inspiration, and leadership. So these are the people, if you read their literature, their biographies, their understanding, then you will understand that how much depth, knowledge, in-depth knowledge they were having, how much hard work they have done. We'll take single example of the Hahnemann. He was originally born scientist. He was botanist, he was zoologist, he was having knowledge regarding all those things, but he has not kept it inside, he has applied it everywhere. And when he reached with his inductive logic to the thought of law of similars and ultimately with experimentation proved it in 1796 to the world law of similars, thereafter throughout his life what he was doing, he was experimenting to get a perfect truth. The truth to treat the truth, treat the human suffering humanity with the help of homeopathy, with the help of natural science. And he worked so hard, and that's why our pathy has existence. And because of him, we are meeting here and learn what he has developed. The name never got so great unless and until he had worked so hard in his lifetime. Always following the appearance of the great teacher or leader, opponents, detractors, and corruptors spring up and attempt to stay or destroy or divert to their own glory the progress of new movement. Disciplines or would-be disciplines have always to be on guard against false teaching. Their principal safeguard is maintaining a sincere and intelligent loyalty to the historic leader whose personality and teaching represent the original truth, and in the intellectual person and personal fellowship with other followers to maintain the same attitude and relation. So these people who have developed their name, they have done something in their life, and they have started with new movement. There are many opponents. When someone comes with new thoughts, no one is ready to accept the thoughts. This is the problem. And this problem is always there because people are not ready to digest something new. They are familiar. They are always in the state of bed. They want to remain in that state of bed. They never want to understand something new. And because of which it happens that there is always an opponent to this. There are many people who starts doing corruptions in the field. There are many people who detract your mind from that. But those people who are great, they never get detracted from their aim. The discipline, what he has given word to discipline, that discipline should not change the thoughts, whatever is mentioned by the master, because master is always a master. Whatever he explains, he has explained with his experimentation. He Hahnemann, throughout his life, even not a single word he has written without experimentation. If you read the Organon word by word, then you will understand the depth of it, and then you will understand how much work, hard work he has done to write each and every sentence over there. And there are many, many fads which are coming out. There are many, many, many different methods which are coming out, going away from the Hahnemannian homeopathy. He says the disciple should not change the thoughts of master, because he, in the next paragraph, what he says, lesser lights and lesser readers, leaders, there must and always be, will be, to whom each in his own rank or and degree, honor and loyalty are due. But disciple is never above his master. See, what he is saying is very important. Even though disciple do something new, but disciple is never over the master. Master is always the master, and we should follow him properly. He only is the master to whom the first great revelation of the truth was made, and by whom it was first developed and proclaimed. For such epochal men are supremely endowed and specially prepared, usually by many years of seclusion, intense thought and labor. They are raised up at last to do great work. They stand on the mountain tops of human experience, from whence they have field of view and grasp the truth never before attainable. Like Moses, they have, as it were, received the tables of law direct from the hand of Almighty. So these are the great masters who came to that level because they have certain specific thoughts in their mind, and they worked very hard to achieve that, because they were actually God gifted, because of which such types of thoughts have been generated in them. And second thing, they worked hard, for which the thought has developed, and because of which they have achieved the name. Hippocrates, he was the first person who was knowing the homeopathic principle also, but he worked hard for clinical medicine. Before that, no one was touching the patient, or no one was considering that there is need to clinically examine the patient. He has developed new era in the field of clinical examination of the patient. And that's why he is called as a father of clinical medicine, because the era has started right from him. And same is true, Hahnemann, even though the law of similars was known, but no one have experimented. Hahnemann was being an allopath. He dared to experiment over those two sentences and finds the truth, and immediately thought there must be something like law of similars. And then he worked hard and explained to the world, yes, this law of similars I have experimented a number of times. So whenever any person gets a great personality, or whenever any person have achieved that greatness, it is not a fluke, it is always a very hard work he has done for that. And he Close expects that you should do that. Homeopathy, the science and art of therapeutic medication, has the twofold existence. What he says is very correct. As an institution and in the personal of its loyal individual representative. So there are two important ways the homeopathy is there in the people. In the institution through which you can get the degree, and second, when you start homeopathic practice after taking the degree, as a personal of its loyal individual representative. So being an homeopath is a personal representative of the same pathy. And this science has this twofold existence. Your college is an institution, is an organization where you get the degree. But there are many restrictions. There are many laws because of which you cannot do certain things. But when you start individual practice, you are free to do experiments, and no one obstructs you. And when you make experiment the path shown by Hahnemann, then you will find, yes, something new you have developed, you have achieved, yes, this remedy has that depth. This knowledge you get through the experimentation. Without experimentation it never comes. And this is what he wants to explain, that when you are doing homeopathic practice, then you are free to do any type of experimentation. These two constituents are pervaded by common animating spirit, which finds expression respectively in its organizations and literature, and in the life and practice of its followers. And now he turns towards the homeopathy. And what he says, homeopathy, a system. The fundamental principles of homeopathy are embodied in the system of doctrines, law, rules of practice, which were first formulated, named, and systematically set forth by Hahnemann in his Organon of Rational of Heart Healing. By that, homeopathy was given a name and individuality and a character which defines and identifies it for all the time. So, Hahnemann have developed this new specific system. He formulated it, he explained it to the world in 1796. Then he was working hard to achieve truth. He was he was fed up with certain not getting the results. Then he worked very hard for nearly about 39 years, and in 1829, he has explained it to the world. He has published two volumes in 1828, the chronic diseases, two volumes, and he came to the one more truth, that why chronic diseases develops. And he has explained the miasms, the sora, the psychosis, the syphilis. What is the how he reached to that specific level? It was because of his continuous work over it, continuous thought inside his mind, and because of which it was possible to go to achieve that specific height. And because of which he has formulated a very specific system. He has developed the organ of medicine, he has developed the materia medica. Then he asked his students to develop the repertory, and Poningosen was the first one who prepared the repertory of antisodic remedies. In fact, Hahnemann himself also tried, but it never get into published. Then there was one more fellow who was his student, Zar. He has tried his level best to develop repertory. But ultimately, name has gone to the Boning whose repertory of antisodic remedies published. So how this has developed? This has developed The system has developed because he has worked very hard and he has formulated very specific ways how to practice, how to take case, what are the qualities of homeopathic physician should be, what is law of similars, what is the ideal cure, how the physician should be in order to achieve ideal cure, what are different types of diseases, the classification of diseases. That is the most important thing Hahnemann have done. When there was no question of classification was there, Hahnemann was in the era of Cuvier and Carl Linnaeus, and because of them, he has classified the diseases. So all those things which developed because of his thought and because of his work, very hard work. The practical demonstration of homeopathy is committed to its personal representatives whose success will be proportionate to their efficiency. Now this paragraph is written for us, or written for all the students of homeopathy, for everyone. What he says, the practical demonstration of homeopathy is committed to the personal representatives whose success will be proportional to the efficiency. First mantra of success. Success is always directly proportional to his efficiency. How much efficient you are, then you get the success. Most important thing, if you are efficient, you work hard, success is there, always success will be there. Till today, at the age of 56, I am working hard, and whatever success I am getting is the result of that hard work. It is not fluke. It takes long period. I have started my practice in 1991. Until today, I am working with the same enthusiasm. I am reading again in the same manner. And that reflects in your patients. You get success because the efficiency I am using. And this is on what basis this efficiency is based on. This is what he explains, and those 3 points one should not forget. What he writes over there, efficiency in homeopathy implies and involves number one. Write those 3 points. It is not only homeopathy, anywhere. Efficiency in homeopathy implies and involves native ability. Number one, first, native ability. Number two, acquired technical proficiency. And number three, logical consistency in application of its principles. Finished. These three words one must learn by heart. What is native ability? Native ability means whether you are able to achieve that, whether that ability is there with you. For example, yesterday I had a case where the girl was having just 75 marks in 10th. 75 marks is very less in 10th nowadays, because nowadays students always gets more than 90 in 10th. She has got 75 and she secured admission for the course of JE learning, and she is suffering from gastric ulcers, peptic ulcers, because the stress is there and she is not understanding what is going on. If the ability is not there, how can you go for it? Unless and until you have that ability, you should not go for it. Native ability. In Marathi, there is one phrase, आडात असेल तरच पोहऱ्यात येईल, आडात नसेल तर पोहऱ्यात कुठून येणार. That is very typical. That means it should be there right from inside in you. That inside you, the ability is there, then you can go for it. If ability to do hard work is not there with you, don't go for it. If you want to achieve a success with homeopathy, you should have a ability to do a very hard work. Today also, I am working for nearly about um around 14 to 15 hours a day. Around 14 to 15 hours a day I am working. This gives the success. If it is there, you go for it. If it is not there, don't go for it. Everyone consider that how I can get money immediately with shortcut methods. Everyone expects that. How can you get that success immediately? Even though you get, it will not remain permanent. It will remain for some time, but you will not get it permanently. unless and until you work very hard for it. One becomes Sachin Tendulkar because he had that ability. That's why he has become Sachin Tendulkar. When everyone, the D Mukesh who becomes a grandmaster now, mm, who had got that world mm, world championship, only because he has done very hard work throughout his life. His parents have devoted a lot. Being an ENT surgeon, his parent, he has devoted his life for his play. So something should be there inside, and then things goes in that way. And that is the first criteria he mentions. If you have a native ability to do a very hard work, then you go for it. Second important thing which he explains, acquired technical proficiency. First thing which should be native, and second thing is that acquired technical proficiency. What is technical proficiency? What is technique? Technique in Marathi Tantradnyan. How much technically sound you are, it depends a lot. Now, the modern era is of era of techniques. I am meeting you, you are at a so distant places, and still I am connecting you only because I have achieved that technique, how to join with internet, how to utilize the internet, how to utilize computer, how to utilize the Zoom, and how I can get connected with you. I can use my WhatsApp, I can use my Facebook to, to reach to you, and because of which you are joining me. This is technical, which I have acquired. It was not there. It was not born with which I have born. Because the computers were not there when I started practice. It was the first time. When I started learning, there were no computers. When I finished learning, computers were there. In the year of 1890, 1889, computers were just coming up at that time. And I have started practice, but I have started practice. You started using computers. Then start after that I have started learning the computer, and I have learned it. I have started doing PowerPoints. I have not joined the class of it, but still I have learned each and everything. It was because I have tried my level best to learn that. The same is true. Mobiles were not there till 2003. Mobiles, when in first time came, we started using, then we started using WhatsApp, then we started using Facebook. And for what purpose you are using that matters a lot. Acquired technical proficiency. What is used? How intelligent you are to use these weapons for the purpose of your proficiency, for the purpose of your profession. If you use it for the proper profession, then you can get a benefit of it. Yes, I can send my message to the all patients on one click, and they get invitation. Yes, tomorrow is your follow-up. If they get the message, they comes to you. Yes, I have achieved that. I have made a very specific software for that purpose. So unless and until you learn the techniques, and unless and until you learn new things which are coming and applying it to your science, then it becomes simple. When I started my practice, it was rather difficult to solve each and every case with repertorization method because it used to take long period. But when computers developed and software developed, now it becomes a question of few minutes. You can solve whole case, repertorize whole case, and from whatever repertory you want to repertorize, you can get. Whatever you have to search, you can search. Today you are lucky enough that you have got just, if you don't know anything, put it in Google and you get the answer, which was not there previously. But now, if you learn that utilization of it in a proper manner, you can get the success. If you don't utilize it for that purpose, then you cannot. So, acquired technical proficiency is another important point in the field if you want to develop or build your efficiency. So that is second point. And third, logical consistency in the application of its principles. So consistency is the word very important. Consistency means satatya. You go on doing it in a very specific manner for years together. Then you achieve that. I'm I'm damn sure that I started teaching in 1991 and I was not late in the class, not a single time in right from 1991 till today. This is consistency. When I started doing my camp, I used to be there for 17 years. We have continued with the camps, and we were there every month last Sunday, and people were knowing that there was a one doctor, one homeopath who used to come, and they were not knowing my name. They were not knowing. There was no pamphlets. There were no board. Still, people were coming for treatment, and they were damn sure that this fellow will come. We have taken only one holiday in 17 years. Consistency. Consistency is one of the important parameter which gives you lot of success. And what consistency? Logical consistency in application of its principles. You apply it consistently, logically. Logically is the word which is very important. You should not just you follow a method. It should be in a proper manner. You utilize your intellect in order to apply the principles of homeopathy. If you are able to achieve that, or if you do it continuously, consistently, I'm damn sure that you will achieve the success. Your efficiency will depend upon it, and your efficiency is always depend upon all those three criteria. Then you can do a very hard work and you never get exhausted. So it's rather a big challenge for me every day to reach to you. Many times it never happens because of busy practice. Still, I find a time to meet you. And this is what is happening. So these things are very important things if you want to achieve the success. I think it's better to stop over there because next paragraph, next sentence is how when you can achieve that, which are four important criteria to achieve these three specific qualities in you that he has mentioned, that tomorrow we'll discuss. And this chapter is a wonderful chapter to learn all those things. So that's all for today. Thank you, and we'll meet definitely at 8:15 with some new remedy from fourth year. I don't know which remedy I will going to take. I have not seen its syllabus, but definitely will be there at 8:15 with a remedy from fourth year syllabus. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening.